evening, good afternoon, good evening. I'm sorry for my Hebrew English, in advance. Today I'll talk about R&D for equity model that one of my companies, my portfolio companies, is working on with Mirotech. And it's a bit different story because this model helped to that portfolio company actually to start a new life. And I'll start a little bit, I know that it's not too modest, okay, but I will start from my experience because these two things, my belief and the company story, will combine it into the story of the presentation. Okay, what I have to push here? This one?
The right one.
Right? Okay, so it's me. By the way, it will be another picture in the end of the presentation. So I'm 25 years in Israel, and all these years I'm in high-tech niche. For 20 years, I served in different C-level positions, and 8 years of them, I was a CEO of a company called NGSoft, which is one of the biggest software houses in Israel. And it's important to say software houses because it's like Mirotech, okay? It's not 1,000 people or 800 or 2,000, I don't know how many today. But for Israel, it's a big enough company because you know that in Israel we don't have too many big companies. And once we are talking about software house, when you don't actually have a product, your IP, your intellectual property, is your people. People go, you lose your IP. So you have to manage these people and to make them motivated and committed to what they do. And let's say it's not easy. And last 5 years, I'm actually an investor. I'm managing a VC fund, venture capital fund in Israel. This is the fund called Titanium. It's a fund of $5 million. And the result of all this is 18 portfolio companies. And in a minute, we'll see, we'll look at the whole portfolio. But what I want to say is that my belief, I strongly believe in hands-on operational excellence. When we are talking about startups, when we are talking about small companies, big companies, but today I'm talking about startups, there is a big pain, especially in Israel, by the way, there is a big pain in startups when, who are entrepreneurs? Who are the founders usually? Who are the founders of startups? It's the young guys. In Israel, for example, they are mostly come from army security departments, or 8 to 100, 8 to 100, Mamram, and so on. And they don't have any managerial experience, nothing. They are brilliant guys. They are very, very good developers, okay? They have brilliant ideas, and they produce or develop the first product very, very quickly. So the period from 0 to seed round or to A round, very quick, very fast, and very successful, and then they are stuck because they don't know how to manage and how to grow the company. They don't have this experience. And as an investor, I can say that if the entrepreneurs, if the founders don't have the experience, and their investors don't have the managerial experience, it's a very big challenge to succeed. So, and we'll talk about this during the presentation, okay, about operational excellence or operational management. So this is the portfolio. This is the 18 companies. I'm not going to explain about each and every company here, but in one side, sorry?
7x, wow.
Yes, and this is the point. In 4 years, we did 7 exits and no shutdowns. In 4 years from your first investment, not to close any company, and to do 7 exits, and you can see they're not small companies. Yeah, Snapchat. The only company that was sold to Snapchat in Israel is our company, and Snapchat has built R&D center based on our company in Israel. LogMeIn, okay, Microsoft. It was a very good exit, and this one as well. Wix, Azurion, okay, this is the Russian company. We sold it to Tinkoff. And we still have at least two companies in the portfolio with a valuation of above $100 million. So in 4 years, we return to our LPs, return to our investors almost the 100%.
What is the, is it TI? I'm sorry,
TI is titanium. It's our fund. TI is this.
That was your
this.
return. So you raised 6.7 in that one?
The company raised 6.7. Our investment is 1 million out of 6. There are two companies here, which are my private portfolio. I invested personally. It's Logix and Ergobiz. Logix is a company which raised in last 2 years $20 million. It's actually #1 company in Israel today in legal tech. Okay, so and if you ask me, this is the result of operational management of startups. Okay, so we are, as investor, has invested in startups, and all the way I'm working very, very close with CEOs because I'm bringing my own experience being CEO before of bigger company, much bigger company. And then the startups have, let's say, at least better chance to succeed when you know how to help them to manage the business, not the startup, not the technology, not the product, the business that they are going to grow. Okay? If you have questions, you can ask during the presentation. So this is what I said before. We're managing the life cycle of investment. Okay, not life cycle of the company. I'm talking about the life cycle of the investment. Actually, it's life cycle of money. Okay, when I'm talking with my LP, with my investor, which invested in my fund, I say, okay, I'm looking at your money like, the money has the life cycle. And I'm taking your money, and from the day 0 or day 1, I'm managing the life cycle of your money, okay? From the initial capital deployment to exit. But how I'm managing that? I believe in hands-on operational excellence. Okay, this is what I believe in. This is my way of investment business. This is my way of managing startups or managing portfolio. I'm not managing startups themselves. I'm managing the portfolio as an investor. The first part of the presentation. The second part, I'm taking you to the story of one of our portfolio companies called Inavo. I will tell you a bit about the product itself, about the market. It's important. If you want to help me, you are welcome, because you know this product.
I tested this product in my company, so I have some experience.
So if you want to say something later on, you are welcome. And then at the end of the presentation, you will see how these two things are combined into the strategy or let's say, strategy of R&D for equity model and why it succeeds. Okay, Inavo. We are focused on content marketing. And why? Because the Content Marketing Institute says inbound content marketing brings 3x leads for 62% of your budget. So today, all the marketeers, and you can do this one. So all the marketeers understood that they must do content marketing, inbound content marketing, and not only outbound and cold calls and so on, and Facebook and LinkedIn and so on. And then the market is today, by the way, when we're talking about content marketing, we're talking about a few sub-markets, okay? Because content marketing is a big market. For example, the SEO market is the part of content marketing as well. Because today, all the search engines, and actually we're talking about Google, mostly, it's content marketing. Google is looking at your content, into your content, what you're writing about, which topics, not keywords. It's not what we had in the past. Today, no keywords, no mathematics, how many times you wrote about this keyword or that keyword. They are talking about topics, meaning what you are writing about on your website. Okay, how good, how interesting you are writing on your website. Which topics you combine together when you are writing about table. If you write about the table, you have to write maybe about the bottles on the table, because it's more interesting, and so on and so on. And then when we are talking about the market itself, SEO market is more than $80 billion market today. By the way, many companies in this market have big problems today because of keywords and topics and so on. Many companies in SEO market dealt with keywords. Today it doesn't work. But this is the size of the market. And from the other side, the marketing technology business, okay, is today about $30 billion, different products. And you can see here that the content marketing niche is growing and growing all the time. Okay, increasing all the time. So this is the reason why we are focused today on business reason. Okay, why we are focused today on content marketing. Now, what's the problem in the content marketing? We have two problems. The first problem is, and it's not me, okay? It's very serious organization that says if your content is not good, and what does it mean not good, okay? We'll talk about it a bit later. But if your content is not good, your funnel is leaking. What's the funnel? Funnel is your marketing funnel, okay? The marketing funnel starts from search, from prospects, who are looking for tables, okay, for example, and then they come to your website, so they become visitors, and then if it's interesting for them, they put their contact details, so now they are leads. Some of them put their contact details by mistake because they didn't understand actually what you do. So they are not marketing qualified leads. Some of them are marketing qualified leads, and you have to qualify. And these guys say if your content is not good enough, you are losing up to 80% of your potential leads. 80%. You are working 24/7, you are writing content, and you're losing 80% of your leads. Why? Because you write not good content. What does it mean? For example, irrelevant topics, missing topics, if you are focusing on major topics or not, and so on and so on. The second problem, it was the first problem. The second problem is once you work very, very hard, for a year, let's say, okay, on your content marketing strategy, your CMO and VP marketing and CEO, all of these guys were working very, very hard on marketing strategy, and they decided what they are going to do. And now they hired the army of content writers, okay? Invest a lot of money in that, and this army was sitting and writing a content. And what happens then? It starts working, and it's fine, and your funnel looks fine, but for how long? You have external factors not related to your content, not related to your people, not related to your strategy. It's actually external factors. For example, SERP algorithm, search, yeah? Google is changing its SERP algorithm every time. By the way,
Twice a day.
Twice a day. By the way, they are not announcing it anymore. They are not announcing. You don't know what happens there. Your prospects' behavioral is changing as well. Competitors' activities. Your competitors are writing content. Maybe better content, maybe more content, maybe different content. So it's not depending on you. And of course, your industry landscape. For example, if you remember 10 years ago, the industry talked about M2M, machine to machine. We know this, okay? There is no, we don't have this term in the industry anymore. Now we're talking about IoT, but actually it's actually the same. M2M and IoT, this is the same. But today we see companies with a lot of content, very old content on their website, which is talking about M2M and not IoT. Why? Because they didn't remove it. I don't know why. Okay? So the industry is changing. So what happens here is that you went through the very, very difficult and long process of creating of your marketing strategy. You hired a lot of people to write this content, and one day, a month later, or 2 months later, or 1 week later, or half a year later, you see that your funnel is not working. You have less leads and less and less and less. And what happens? Your people is doing occasional manual changes because they see that the funnel is going down, leads are going down, number of visitors is going down. So they analyze it, manually, and they change the content manually. What we are saying is that, let's imagine that this problem can be solved automatically. How? Let's do first content intelligence. Remember, I talked about external factors. Yeah? What do I mean content intelligence? What happens in search algorithms? What happens with your competitors? If you can do the intelligence work to understand the content of your competitors and your content and what works and what doesn't work today. And then, once you understood your content and the competitors' content, and you understand why you started losing leads, just imagine that we can do the automatic or semi-automatic changes, meaning to manage the funnel. You remember we talked about the funnel? I'm saying that we or you or our clients can manage the funnel. The example. 20 years ago, I tried to call my mom, and it didn't ring on the second side. Why? Because the telecommunication was not so good. We wanted to see a movie online. We couldn't. Why? Because the line was broken and so on and so on. It was 20 years ago. What happened? Today it's working. Why? Because operators did two things. One is technology. Codecs, for example. Give me the name of the compression, decompression, all these technologies. Okay, so they brought technologies into the line. Okay, this is the first one. The second one, they started managing the network. To monitor the network. What do I mean manage? Monitor, first of all, to know if something is broken, to alert. Okay? Once they could, or they received the alert, they went and analyzed the problem, fixed it, and today it works. I mean, today, telecom operators brought a lot of technology into the line for the traffic itself, and they are managing the network. And we're saying that, imagine that we can do it with the funnel. If we are talking about the marketing funnel, let's say that this is the line, we have the traffic inside, leads, this is the traffic, yeah? Leads is like data of movie. So let's bring technologies to this traffic, and we say that this is the content intelligence, and let's manage the funnel. What do we mean manage the funnel? Let's monitor, alert, analyze, fix. This is exactly what Inavo does. Inavo, it's only two things: content intelligence and funnel management. As to content intelligence, it's based on very, very smart NLP engine. NLP is natural language processing. So in non-intrusive way, this engine can go and crawl the website or scan the website and to purify the topics that the website is talking about. The same thing we can do with competitors. Because it's not intrusive, we can go to the website of our competitors to crawl this site, to scan their sites, and to bring the map of their topics, of their content. And then we can compare our or your content with your competitors' content. I'm not talking about what exactly, but in general, you have to understand that the engine scan the website, bring the map of content, and is doing the same with your competitors, and bring all the analytics on that, the SEO analytics, the search volume, and so on, and how many times people is looking for these specific topics, and so on your side and on your on your competitor side. A lot of analytics for these topics. KPI tracking. What do I mean KPI tracking? Let's say that your KPI for the next month is, I don't know, 1,000 visitors and 200 leads. Okay? So this is the model that is dealing with this subject. And the CRO. CRO is the content recommendation engine, which is actually once visitors come to your website, the challenge now is to convert them to the lead. Okay, so they are visitors, they are looking on your website and so on, but how you make them, putting their contact details. Okay, so this is the content intelligence. And as to Inavo funnel management, you remember the management of the network, the funnel. We know to monitor your funnel if something happened. If you see that, if we see, our agent sees that you had 1,000 visitors a month ago, and today you have 2 visitors, something happened. So we see that, we alert, we analyze, we give you insights, and in the next versions, we will execute and fix the problem. So what I'm saying is that once we know to do both things, I mean, content intelligence and funnel management, in our opinion, this is the solution. And now, just to do it more visible, we say that let's take an example of any company with content marketing. Let's say that this is the gray one. This is their funnel today. This is their visitors and so on. Yeah, this is the funnel. Search to visitor, visitor to lead, lead to MQLs. We talked about it. In Inavo today, we are talking about roadmap, by the way, and I'm finishing the story of the product. Today, Inavo is only this one and one dot here. So today we are talking about this part of the funnel. We know to grow or to give you insights. So we will be able to grow your number of visitors, to increase your number of visitors, and visitor to leads. So actually, you will have more leads if you use Inavo. And then in our future roadmap, we will finish or will complete the scope of marketing funnel. So we will give you insights, planning, and execution. And hopefully, when we will raise a lot of money, we'll go for the sales part of acquisition funnel. By the way, this is the marketing funnel. This is the acquisition funnel, okay? This is the marketing funnel. This is the sales funnel, okay? Today, we are focused on marketing funnel. Marketing is from search to lead, and sales funnel is from MQL, from lead to sale, actually, to customer. So this is Inavo. Nice story, yeah? Nice product, but very, very hard way to do. A little bit about competitors. Today, all our competitors are playing in some specific niche. We have products in, in search engine and SEO, SEMrush, SimilarWeb, and so on, in content intelligence. But what we are trying to do is...
Are you actually using some of them for your product as well?
Sorry?
Aren't you using some of the competitors on the front end of your product? I thought he said
if you are using
Moz or SEO.
Yeah. some of them are giving API to take from them the data. So we are using, for example, for search parameters, we are not going to Google and we are not searching for analytics. We just work with the CMrush, for example, and we take all the analytics on the topics that we purified from the website. So if we purify the topic called table, so we go to a CMrush and say, okay, give me all the SEO analytics on this topic, on this keyword, okay? And this is what we fill this part of our product with external data. And it's okay, by the way. We are not invent bicycle from scratch. So what we are saying here, we are trying to be, the one all-in-one proactive orchestrator, because most of today's products they are passive, let's say, proactive or passive, yeah, passive. Passive, so you have to go there and to ask for something and you will receive the data. We are saying that we are trying to be the proactive all-in-one orchestrator. In our story, and this is in our story. Look, for these 4 years, the company, by the way, now it's a new name, part of the pivot here. The old name was Bright Info. We invested in this company, I mean Titanium. We invested in this company about $2 million. In total, it was something like 5 million. And the company called Bright Info developed a very nice product. And we invested there and we liked the product, and it was very, very optimistic and promising. And they started sales, very nice. And here we understood that Houston, we have a problem. What was the problem? We had a very, very good engine, very good product, but we had very bad business. 5 minutes. I'm finishing in 2. We had very bad business. Why? Because it was not healthy. When I mean healthy, when we are looking on startup not in seed, not in pre-seed stage, but on later stages, you have to look at this ratio. LTV on CAC. LTV is lifetime value, meaning how much money your customer brings you through the whole or his life cycle with you. Meaning if your customer stays with you, let's say 2 years, and pay $10,000 per year, the LTV, the lifetime value of the customer, is $20,000. CAC is customer acquisition cost. How much money you invested to bring this customer. So if this ratio is less than 3, you can close the company and go home, and it's preferred, otherwise you just spend your money and and nothing will happen. Why? Because you have money for R&D. You have money for administration. You have money for this and for that. So your ratio LTV on CAC must be more than 3. And we discovered here that our ratio is less than 3. So the business was not healthy. And we understood that, and company, by the way, the burn rate of the company at this stage, the monthly burn rate after revenues was $300,000 every month. Okay? With revenues of 60, 70. So it was crazy. So we put money and we put money and we put money, and the business is not increasing. So we said, okay, we have to stop. We have to think. We have to reduce costs. Dramatically. And think what we are going to do. We reduced costs dramatically from 300,000 per month to 40, something like that. And in 1 minute I will explain how. And we invented Inaro. How? We just learned very deeply which assets, technological assets, we have in our previous product, what we can take from there, and by the way, value innovation. We didn't go to disrupt the market, but we tried to bring the value innovation to the market, meaning to bring something else, something different, something that no one brings today. And we understood that in the previous product, we have this very, very strong NLP engine. So we took it from there and we started to develop Inaro. So we reduced costs and we decided what to do with the product. What you have to have if you want to succeed in pivot. Pivot is very, very hard process. In many times, I think it's preferable to close the company and not to do pivot, even if you know what you want to do, because it's very, very difficult. And what you need for that, for this success, you must have experienced management. You cannot do pivot with the smart kids, okay? You can't do that. You need to manage the process. You need strong key personnel, I mean top-level management. You need committed team, and now I'm talking about the whole team, not only management. And you need some budget, because without budget, and the question is, what is the budget? What budget means? So if you have money to pay to your people, or your people so committed and motivated that they can, or they're prepared to work for low salary or without salary, let's say. Okay, this is the question. What the budget? This is me. So but it's 2 months before that picture, so I'm younger here. So I was those days, I mean a year ago when we started the pivot, I was in the board. I mean, I was a member of the board, and I said, okay, I'm going to manage this company. I'm going to manage the company hands-on management. This is the first thing. The second thing, we say, okay, we need top-level guys. Top-level guys, each one in his specific area. So we have very strong and very experienced CTO with 20 years from Technion, it's a university in Haifa, from Israeli defense technological departments. We have Gur Tirosh, who used to be the VP product and content in companies like Sisense and Natural Intelligence and so on. And we have the head of UX, who's actually one of the best UX guys in Israel. So you remember that? This is the first one and the second one. And now I'm asking, what can we do to make our team, I mean, not VPs, not the level of VPs and C-level guys. I'm talking about the whole team in the company. Now we say, okay, and we have very limited budget. Yeah, you remember that we have very limited budget. So what we are doing? And then I came to Mirotech, and this is the story of R&D for Equity. I came to Mirotech thanks to Olga, that I know her for last 10 years, something like that. So she was 5 or 6 then. So, something. My pleasure. So, and I came to Olga and say, okay, I know that you work at Mirotech now. Just explain me a little bit about your company. Maybe we can do something together. I need people. I don't have budget for Israeli developers. They are very expensive, but I want to find the word. No, it's in Russian. I can't say it. So you understood? Okay. So and we said with Olga and Elena and we thought how we can build that. The end of the story is that today we have here in Mirotech in Ukraine the R&D team, full-time guys, 5 people in R&D, half salesmen, 2 customer success. By the way, my colleagues in Israel, investors, CEOs, and so on, say, we think that you are the first guy in Israel who built a customer success team in Ukraine for Israeli company. R&D we know. R&D, many Israeli companies go for R&D to Ukraine, but for success in English, to work with the customers directly, to represent your company from Ukraine and so on, and American guys will ask them, where are you located? And they will say, Ukraine? You are not afraid of that? And so on and so on. I said, no. And the reason was very simple. I didn't have budget.
But it works.
I didn't have any other option, okay? I couldn't hire Israeli people. Not success, not developers, nothing. And I said, okay, I have experience. I worked with Olga in her previous company for 5 years. I know that it works. I know that I have to try. And I just did it. And this is the team that today we have here in Mirotech in Ukraine. And I can say that it's phenomenal job that they do. You know, today when I'm talking with when I'm sitting on boards in my other portfolio companies, I say, you're just losing money. Go to Ukraine, go to Mirotech, take people, save money. They are better than many your developers in Israel. They are better.
What's SDR?
And here, sorry?
What does SDR stand for?
SDR, it's sales development representative. And this team is working on R&D for equity model. Did you remember that in the beginning of my presentation, I talked about commitment of the team? This is one of the most important things that bring commitment to your outsourcing company. So it's not, you take outsourcing development, you say, okay, I pay money, they do the job. Tomorrow, this company there will pay to their developers $1 more, they will go there. So what their motivation to work for you? Once you are working on R&D for equity and your provider, your outsource or your partner, by the way, I'm talking about the partner. I'm not talking about Mirotech as a provider of outsourcing and so on and so on. They are my partner in this business, okay? So once you have a partner who has equity in your company, no way that he will leave you just like that. No way, because this is his equity. This is his potential for exit, okay? And I'm finishing. So this is in our today. We have monthly revenues about $25,000 per month. The average check is 1,000. We have a beta version. We released the beta version in April. Net burn, you remember we talked about 300,000 net. Today is 30 net burn after revenues. 70% of manpower is working on R&D for equity model. 70% of the company. And actually, as an investor, I can say, we have a very healthy seed stage company. We could be, after 7 or 8 years of, of the life of the company, we could be maybe in B stage or C stage. Didn't succeed, it's okay. 80% of startups do not succeed. But today, I think that we succeeded to save, for now, to save investors' money, to bring the company to the new life, and we actually have very healthy seed stage company. Questions, if we have time.
Great job. Any questions?
Yes, Alex. Just to check my information correctly about the technology itself. See, does the competitor analysis is the basement for making the insights of how to improve and to make the funnel more efficient, or it provides the unique insights, and the competitor analysis is just a thing that we can do in parallel and compare ourselves with? Let me explain. You talked about, a lot about comparing versus competitors, analyzing the website, creating the semantical map. Now the question is, is it the key component and an enabler for getting the insights, or is just one of the, let's call it, services or capabilities that can give the insights?
Okay, look, first of all, our technology is working the best for the companies in tobacco area. Okay, so you have to understand. Okay, so the second is, it's actually a unique solution. Why? Because we have, I don't think we have a competitor, the direct competitors today. We know about 2 of them.
No, the question is not about your competitors. The question is more about, okay, we have our company.
Yeah.
We have our competitors that do tobacco business,
Yeah.
do digital business.
Yeah.
So to get the value out of Inhavo, will Inhavo
Yeah.
be basing its work
Yeah.
based on the analysis of what Philip Morris
All right.
and other companies does in the digital space and getting insights out?
Not in digital space? Yes, in digital space.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Or is
This
it
is
insights irrespectively of will
Yeah.
analyze
So-
their work and how?
so. What I tried to say that we don't have competitors, and I want to explain why I say that. Because to understand the content of your site, let's say you think that you know what your website is talking about. You think that you know. It's like you are going out in the morning. Okay, you are okay. You think that you are okay, but you didn't look in the mirror. Okay, and you go out and you are not okay, so much. Okay, because we will not talk about that, but you have to see from a side how you look. So you think that you know what your website is talking about, but you don't. Believe me. We came to a company which is dealing with voice over IP. And we asked the question, you have X pages on your website. How many pages in percentage? How many pages are talking about voice over IP, VoIP voice over IP? They said above 90%. Above 90%. We brought the map. of Inavo, it was 34% of pages which talked about voice over IP, okay? 66% didn't mention voice over IP. So this is the first. You think that you know what, and it's not because of you, of your, this is the first. The second.
I just want to say something about that, Alex, because this is important as a marketing guy. There are times where you might have a page that talks about the problem versus a direct solution, so that the way your algorithms work, it'll identify that the main content on the page isn't voice over IP, but it is addressing a problem that draws somebody into the solution. So you just have to look at that anecdotally and make sure you really understand what the intent was of all those pages as well. So I just want to be clear, because that's a really important difference.
And this is exactly what we do. Because for us, VoIP, or voice over IP, or voice over internet protocol, or all these related to voice over IP, for us is the same topic. Because we are talking about topics and not keywords. If we would talk about keywords, we'll talk, okay, you have VoIP, you have voice over IP, and so on. We understand the topic that you are talking about. Now, I said before that we are not intrusive. Okay, so we can go to the website of your competitor and do the same job. To give you the mirror of your competitor, and then to compare and say, okay, you are talking about Marlboro Light, just, you know, and they are not talking about Marlboro totally, at all. Why? You have to understand why. Why you are talking about Marlboro? They don't. Or you are talking about, I don't know, cannabis. Okay, it's very, you know, today it's in the fashion. Okay, it's good or not good, because you have a very high volume in search for cannabis today, and this is true. We got nothing to do with that, but you don't sell cannabis. But it's okay. You need the traffic to your website. Okay, and maybe your competitors are writing about cannabis not because they're selling cannabis, because they want to win in search. And once the traffic come to their website, they know what and how to write to convert them to leads or something like that. If you are talking about B2C, for example, you want to increase the time on site. Okay, so maybe things like cannabis, for example, let's say, you know, they're increasing the time of site, and so on and so on. So what we're bringing to your marketeers is the clear picture of your content in terms of topics. Actually, exactly like Google searches.
Does it work
and your
with
company.
social media sites like the page?
Not now. Not now. As an engine, it can work there. Engine is the same engine. It's NLP. The text, no problem. But as a product, we are not there yet. It will come. We can do that. We're just checking how shares people did to your piece of content to social networks, or the traffic that came from social networks. We take information from Google Analytics, for example, and so on and so on. But we're not going now to social at the moment. We're not going to social networks on your blog posts there, and we're not scanning your text on your posts.
So look, using the product, I would say you get a really good competitive analysis of what the content is and what potential opportunities might exist for other content. The only value add you get on your own site goes to the conversion side, but you get almost the same analysis of the competitors' pages and activity as you do for your own site. It's pretty good.
To do the competitive analysis automatically. Because what your people is doing today, they are going to your competitor website and looking on the website, page by page, and they're trying to understand what the competitor is writing about.
I doubt they do this. I doubt they do this.
So this is the point. Okay, now.
I think we have closing comments inside, everybody. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.